Aloha Mora. Let's unlock the secrets of imperfect love, part 2. I'm Professor Vocus, and this is Harry Potter, Wizards Unite.
Hello, Professor. I didn't see you there.
Apologies for the intro, I couldn't help myself. Now I will say I was of two minds making this video because I actually was debating making two videos, a guide plus a kind of reaction to this event and some of the tasks and where I feel like they fell short. But in the spirit of me usually having very positive attitude about things and trying not to point out the bad things too much, I didn't want to make a whole video that was a negative video. So I will insert my feelings about some of the tasks and where I think they missed the mark or are continuing to miss the mark month after month with specific mistakes. I will keep it mainly to the guide and just put those comments in and try to keep it brief, although sometimes I can't help myself. The basics of the event haven't really changed. It's Tuesday to Tuesday, February 23rd to March 2nd. It goes into March because February is a shorter month, and they were pushing a lot of events into this month anyway. So anyway, Tuesday to Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific time to 11 a.m. Pacific time. There will be 5 brilliant fandables, pretty much standard. The first 2 are the wild ones, just the encounters, the purple beams on the map. It's Portrait of Bellatrix Lestrange and Portrait of Voldemort. Both of them will take 20 fragments to place, meaning you need to return 20 of them. And both of them will be involved with tasks that we'll get into in just a little bit. Next up is the Portkey Foundable, which is Mors Mordra Dark Mark. And it is 5 fragments to place. If you walk a portkey, it's a 100% chance you're going to get a fragment. So if you manage to walk 5 portkeys, they're 1.5 kilometer, standard brilliant looking. If you walk them, you will get the fragment each time. So once you get 5 fragments, you can place that image, although don't place any images until I tell you, which we'll get to that in the tasks themselves. By the way, if you're wondering, Mors Mordra is actually the incantation that the Death Eaters use. It's the literal words they use to make the dark mark appear in the sky. Most of the time, almost all the time, it's when they've murdered somebody, they would put it over their house or over the location that they did it. The one time I can think of that they didn't do that was they did it over the astronomy tower in the books. They did the symbol over the astronomy tower to attract Dumbledore's extension so that he would go there so that Malfoy could kill him, which we know how that all turned out. But anyway, that's the Mors Mordra Dark Mark. Next up is the Fortress Foundable, which is the Sword of Gryffindor replica, which was in Bellatrix's vault. She thought she had the Sword of Gryffindor, but it was actually a replica that was in her vault. Anyway, you need 3 fragments to place this image, and the way you get it is to go into either the night bus or a local fortress if you're able to get out safely, and use brilliant runestones from this event, and they have a chance to drop this foundable, the Sword of Gryffindor fragment. You need 3 of them. Again, Ruins 1 has a 50% chance to give it to you, all the way up to Dark 5, which has a 100% chance, and it scales up. I plan on running lower chambers, knowing I'm not going to get these fragments immediately, and just run enough until I get 3, and then just hold on to that image. I'll actually be doing that in step 3, where we actually have to go into fortresses for the first time. And the last brilliant foundable image you'll need to place is the Mass Breakout from Azkaban Daily Prophet. It's only 1 fragment to place. You'll be rewarded this fragment at the end of the 4th set of tasks, so there's nothing you need to do specifically for this except for to do the tasks themselves, and they're just going to give it to you, and that's the only way you get it. There will be bundles for this event, and the only one really to worry about is the complimentary bundle. It's going to give you the ingredients for a tonic for trace detection and some spell energy as per normal. The other bundles aren't anything different than even the first part of Imperfect Love or anything we see during this. Not something I would use my gold on, mainly because it's things you can either brew or collect yourself if you're able to get out. The first set of tasks starts out like it always does with collect 2 ingredients or portmanteau. Don't forget energy counts as an ingredient, so if you pick it up off the ground, it will meet this requirement. That'll get you 2 Snowdrop, which are used for Extimulo potions. Brew 3 potions is going to get you 2 Rem Blood. Brewing 3 potions for my newer players just means collecting them. So you could brew all 3 of these prior to the event. You could do it 24 hours before and have them ready. Just don't collect them until the event starts. And once you collect those 3, it'll immediately meet this requirement. Return 12 Portrait of Bellatrix Lestrange will get you 2 Powder Dragon Claw. Remember, this is one of the event foundables. You need 20 fragments to place it, but they'll just be purple beams out in the wild. You're going to see other purple beams too, but you just need to get 12 Bellatrix. If you manage to get up to 20 of her, just don't place her image. In addition, you need to not go to the registry. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But when I say don't go to the registry, the event registry, if you get to your 20th fragment of her and you hit the X on the bottom of the screen, it'll immediately take you to the event registry because it wants you to place the image. But it'll also award you all the family experience you've gotten at that point, and we don't want that yet. Once you do all that, you are going to get 50 Brilliant Family Experience, which again, we don't want to go to the registry at all, so certainly don't go visit it on your own. Generally, you have to go there on your own if you're not going to place an image, because it'll take you to the regular registry, and you'd actually have to click on that event tab, so just make sure you don't click on that. You'll also get 2 restricted section spell books, and then some energy, and then some regular wizarding experience. And then we move on to the second set of tasks. Cast Alohomora 15 times. This is going to get you 2 strong Extimula potions. When I first saw this, just looking through the task, with the information I had at the time at least, I had no idea why they had Alohomora in here, because Bellatrix and Voldemort, the 2 event foundables, do not require Alohomora. They're different spells. So I was like, why are they making us do this? There must be boosted foundables, and they're just not presenting it with the information. And sure enough, there are 6 foundables that actually will be increased spawn rates, and if you use tonic for trace detection, these 6 will also have an increased spawn rate, and all of them use Alohomora to return. So, Argus Filch, the Executioner, Thestrals, the Demiguise, Mooncalf, and Buckbeak, all 6 of them are Alohomora, and all of them should have an increased spawn rate. Now keep in mind, it is just to cast Alohomora. That's all you need to do is just cast it. You don't actually have to be successful. The foundable can actually run away. If you have multiple casts on one foundable, like for example, Buckbeak. Buckbeak is hard to return a lot of times. So you'll cast Alohomora, it will resist. Cast Alohomora, it will resist. Each Alohomora you cast successfully. So if you do it and it gives you that red dot that's like you didn't do it, that's not going to get it. But if you do get a successful cast and an attempt happens, you'll get credit. So for something like Buckbeak or a higher threat foundable, maybe like a Thestral, they like to run on me a lot, you could actually use a Dawdle Draft, and the Dawdle Draft will keep it from running, and you can keep casting Alohomora. Don't use an Extimula or anything. You almost don't want it to be returned so that you can get more casts in. But it will help you get to 15 casts earlier. But honestly, when we get to the second thing right here, I don't think it'll really matter. Use tonic for trace detection 2 times, and that's going to get you 3 Leaping Toadstool. And that's why I say during these 2 tonics, or at least during one of them going into the second, if these are increased foundables and you're seeing them, I bet you get to cast Alohomora 15 times just trying to return foundables without using any potions or going out of your way in any way. So I wouldn't necessarily do that unless it starts to get desperate and you really need to get done with this quickly. But again, you got to make it through these 2 tonics, so you're going to have the time. Collect 6 Imperfect Love runestones, get you 1 Dark Detector. This is why you don't go to the registry. You need to get Imperfect Love runestones. The way you get that is getting family experience in the Brilliant Registry under this Brilliant event. For every 40 family experience you get, you'll get 1 runestone. You'll rank up and you'll get 1 runestone. So to get 6 times 40, you need 240 family experience. Now in the previous step, you got rewarded 50 just for getting through the tasks. In addition, those Bellatrixes you were getting, that's actually getting more for you. If you're able to walk port keys, I would actually not open the port keys till you get till this step. So walk some port keys, and if you have a couple, open them at this step. Port keys have a chance to reward you a big chunk of family experience for this Brilliant event. The most I've ever gotten is 125 from 1 port key. But in general, I've gone from nothing all the way to like 5, 15, 30, but even like 30 and stuff, that's going to get you there pretty quickly. So when you open the registry, it's just going to give you all the family experience. You're going to rank up as many times as you are going to rank up, and each one will give you a runestone. And then if you haven't met the 6, those tonic for trace detections, you'll be going through foundables, casting Alohomora anyway. Keep returning Brilliant foundables. That'll build up your experience. And then eventually you'll make it to doing this. By the way, at this step, you can open the registry as much as you want. Once you do all that, you're going to get 75 Brilliant Family experience, you're going to get 3 restricted section books, and then some experience and spell energy, and you'll move on to the 3rd set of tasks. Use Master Notes 7 times. It gets you a silver key. Now, using the Master Notes is not just brewing potions. You are brewing potions, but you actually have to enter those Master Notes at the time. So this is a good reason why you would actually have your potions notifications on. So when a potion finishes, even if you can't play the game, if you can just open it and collect that potion and then enter the master notes for another potion, you will be able to complete this task quicker. Because it's definitely happened to me where I queue up potions and I forget, so it goes through 3 more potions and I don't enter the master notes because I didn't go back in there. So just you need to stay on top of this. For me, when I get to this set of tasks, I'm just going to assume that I'm not going to play until the next day. I'm not going to worry about moving on to the 4th set of tasks until I'm done with these master notes anyway. So I'm going to make it an overnight. I'm going to finish my play, keep doing those master notes like through the rest of the day into the night before I go to sleep. When I wake up the next morning, maybe do a couple more, and then move on and play the next day. So again, you could speed this up by just paying off the potions, using the rental cauldron to have more going on at once. But in general, I feel like I don't like to spend gold where I could have just used a time. And by time, I really just mean wait till the next day. It's not a big rush for me in that sense, to use gold at least. Defeat 15 foes in wizarding challenges. It's going to get you 4 Runespore eggs. Defeating 15 foes in wizarding challenge, just go into the night bus. This is where I would start with Brilliant Runestones and go ahead and get the Sword of Gryffindor replica. Get the 3 fragments of that first, and then hold on to that image. You don't want to place it yet, in addition to the other images. But go ahead and get those, and then I'll probably switch over to another runestone of just any family that I'm trying to get things. But 15 foes should only take me, 8 fortresses at the most at Ruins 2, and if you do a higher level, it should be more like 5 or 6. So my guess is right about the same time I get my 3 fragments of the Sword of Gryffindor will be when I'm finished with the 15 foes anyway. Return 15 Portrait of Voldemort to get you 2 Strong Extimulos. This is another event foundable. They'll be around, obviously. So nothing special about that. Again, while I'm doing those masterful notes, I'll probably be getting these portraits just kind of as the day goes on. So not a big worry to me about doing this, in addition to the fortresses. This 3rd set of tasks, to me, almost is the it probably won't even be in a video. This is the type of thing I do over a longer period. Like I would just take a day, run a fortress occasionally, return to Voldemort, put a master notes in, and complete these kind of as you go along. And with 7 days of the event, using 1 day to do this really for me isn't a big deal. I know the next day I can move on to the rest. The 4th set of tasks starts with earn 7,000 wizarding experience from challenges. It gets you 1 red spellbook, which for me, again, always useful in that combat adversary tree against feared and lethal adversaries. Keep in mind it does say wizarding experience, not challenge experience, which is nice because it does go faster. You gain more wizarding experience from doing challenges than you get challenge experience. This is the experience that just helps you level up. Barufio's Brain Elixir does double your experience, so Barufio's would actually help you complete this quicker. And here's one of my, this is just a minor, I'd say, gripe, is that on the last step, they wanted us to do 15 foes in wizarding challenges, so they're making us go into wizarding challenges. They're saying, hey, we want you to go in and do some wizarding challenges. And you're going to go in there, and you're going to gain a whole bunch of wizarding experience. Then when you get to step 4, they're like, hey, now we want you to get some wizarding experience from challenges, and you're like, wait, I just did that a second ago. I really feel like that 15 foes and this should be on either both in step 3 or both in step 4. It doesn't really matter to me. Is if you're going to make players do this, go ahead and have them do both at the same time. It just kind of makes sense that you're going in to do one thing and you should get the other instead of doing the one thing and then doing the next thing, and they could have gone hand in hand, but you chose to not have them do that. Again, that's just a minor gripe. My major gripe is the next thing, which is to place 5 images in the Imperfect Love registry page for, this part of the event. Again, there's 5 images to place, and they want us to place 5 images. So immediately, a newer player certainly would say, oh, they want me to place these 5 images. Well, one of those images is that fragment you're going to be rewarded when you finish this 4th set of tasks, which means one of your 5 images you can't even place to meet this requirement. They had it in the bonus tasks in the part 1 of this, which I commended and said, hey, they put it in the right spot. And then they've moved it right back to the 4th set of tasks. And they do this in week 1, they tend to do it this way. In week 2, they tend to do it the way we're seeing now. But the problem I have is just leave it in the bonus tasks. Leave it in the bonus tasks or make it so that we can get all 5 images. Award that fragment in the 3rd set. I'm fine with that. We should just be able to place 5 images that are the 5 images from this event to meet this requirement. It makes perfect sense. Anyway, I've griped on this before. I said I'd be brief, so we will move on. To complete this, you should already have Bellatrix and you should have Voldemort. If you're able to walk the port keys, then you should have the Memorsdra, Dark Mark, you should have that if you walk the port keys. And then if you did the Fortress Foundable, then you should have the Sword of Gryffindor replica. So you potentially would have 4 images coming into this. My recommendation, as it always is to go back into Fortresses after you've placed the Sword of Gryffindor replica and just get 3 more fragments by using runestones. It's just the fastest way usually to build back up. Now, if you didn't get the port key one, if you're not able to walk the port key, I would go ahead and do the fortress another time. Unless you really want to go ahead and grind anyway, then you can go ahead and build 20 back up of Bellatrix or Voldemort, and you can place that image again. But for me, at least, the fortress tends to be the quickest way to just get the images back again and again and again. And the last thing you gotta do, collect 15 mysterious note pieces from Brilliant Traces. This can be any purple beamed foundable, at least it should be. It gets you 1 spellbook for a red spellbook for completing this. These are random drops. They tend to have a pretty high drop rate for me. It's not 100%. I definitely will return some Brilliant Foundables and it doesn't give me note pieces, but more often than not it does. So just keep returning Brilliant Foundables until you get 15 mysterious note pieces. Now again, when you get the first one, there will be some story text, so if you are interested in that, just when you get that first one, just don't click too fast because some story text will pop up. After the 5th note, note piece, you'll also get some story text, and after the 10th note piece, you'll also get some story text unless they've changed the way they do it. Which is that's another minor gripe I've had, is that you collect 10 note pieces and they're like, we've got the note, and then you still have to collect 5 more. And I'm like, if you've already got the note, why do you need me to collect 5 more? And they should just move it to 15, make you collect all 15 and then show you that story text. Never really figured out the rhyme or reason for that. Again, that's more of a flavor thing as opposed to a game mechanic where I feel like they've missed the mark. Once you've completed all that, you will get that fragment, the 1 fragment that you needed of the Mass Breakout of Azkaban Daily Prophet. You'll also get 5 restricted section books, 5 Defense Against Dark Arts books, some spell energy, some wizard experience, and you will move on to the bonus tasks by backing out to the main screen, and then it'll say you're done, and then immediately say you've got some bonus tasks. At this point, there will be a new bundle in the store as well, the bonus bundle that comes from the bonus tasks. It's quite expensive and has a ton of potions. You can go check it out, but it's not something I ever usually partake in. Defeat 15 formidable foes in wizarding challenges. This gets you 1 Barufio's Brain Elixir and starts off our bonus tasks. Now, I will say, I had this wrong in the last guide. Somebody pointed it out because it was mainly me trying to go through too quickly and not double checking what I had said. So formidable foes are the 2-star foes. I said it was a 3-star foe last time. I made the mistake. So 2-star foe, and 2-star meaning on the screen when you're fighting in the fortress, you can see a star between 1 and 5. So these are the 2-star foes. In general for this, if you're in tower like 1, 2, 3, 4, anywhere in the tower chambers, I'll probably hover around tower chambers 1 and 3. Really, I'll probably just go into whatever's empty out of those. If there's people in one, I'll go to a different one. Because generally, you get more formidable foes here. This is blind luck. You might go in and have none, and I've gone in and had 2 foes on both of them be formidable in a lower chamber. So in these chambers, you just have a greater chance for them to pop up just based on the difficulty level. Return 45 Brilliant Foundables. That's going to get you some spell energy. Again, with this one, it can be any of them because the 2 from the first event will also already be here, as well as the 2 Foundables from this event, the Bellatrix. Anything purple beamed, essentially, is going to get you credit toward this. So this just takes time, essentially. Earn 12,500 Wizarding Experience to get you a silver key. It does say any source, so I don't even think you have to worry about this one. If you're just playing the game during the bonus tasks, I mean, anything. Placing images. If you have any images you haven't placed and you want to place it and it gives you experience, you could do that. Opening port keys, regular port keys or brilliant port keys. Running challenges. Returning foundables on the map. People sending you gifts. So even if you get like a wizard experience gift, that's going to count. Extravagant gifts that have experience. So if you do have any gifts and you're on like the 3rd or 4th set of tasks, maybe even wait till you get to the bonus task to open those gifts if they're extravagant or if they're Wizard XP gifts. This is just a good time to open them. In general, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. 12,500 over the course of returning 45 Brilliant Foundables and doing the formidable foes in the fortresses. You've got it. 12,500 will happen. Keep in mind, Barufio's will actually double this type of experience, so you will do it faster if you use Rufios, but again, I don't think you'll need to. Win in your highest unlocked chamber, we're no stranger to this one. It gets you 1 spell book. And for my newer players, it's just when you go to the fortress, if you go into the night bus, it will be the highest chamber it will even let you do. That's going to be the highest chamber you have to do. Now, once you do that, it actually unlocks the next one up, so next event, you would have to at least do that one if you haven't gone further. And that's why a lot of people that have played for a while, we're already at Dark 5 because this task keeps coming up. And so early on, so even if we didn't want to, it kept unlocking the next one and the next one, and we all ended up at Dark 5, and so all of us have to do Dark 5 during this event. And lastly is to cast Alohomora 25 times to get you 2 potent Extimula potions. Now, I am glad they have the increased spawns for the Alohomora. I don't feel it ties into the event itself, the Imperfect Love, because it was based around like the Executioner and the Thestral and some other stuff that it came from, yes, the same book, some of the stuff, but it was just some of it just doesn't make any sense thematically. But beyond the thematics, since they already had this in the second task, cast Alohomora X number of times, for them to repeat it's just really not very creative. If they wanted to in this, they could have mentioned those Foundables by name, or just come up with something different that involves those Foundables. But really, if you've already had us cast Alohomora 15 times, for then later for you to have us do it again, just seems really odd and just repetitive. Not too big of a deal, but it is just kind of loses focus from the Imperfect Love event itself. But I guess the main reason stuff like this bothers me, even though it is something newer, I mean, we haven't had Alohomora before, in recent memory at least, is I just want them to come up with newer tasks that are interesting and more diverse throughout the set instead of just repeating things. Because even the defeating so many foes and then defeat so many formidable foes, again, very similar. It doesn't feel different for the most part to people. So I would just like them to come up with just a little more creative stuff to do. If you finish all the bonus tasks, you will get 5 Defense Against Dark Arts books. You will also get 100 Brilliant Family Experience, and then all the way to the left of the rewards there, that is the Mors Mordra Dark Mark. They actually give you 5 fragments of it. So I'm going to give props where it's done, is if you can't walk those port keys and you had to run fortresses to get the images or get more of the Voldemort or Bellatrix, then at the end here, if you're worried about, oh, I'll never be able to place that image, they just give you the 5 fragments. If you can't walk the port keys, they're going to give them to you at the end of the bonus tasks, and then you can at least place that image to complete that page, which is nice. One other thing I will say that they removed from the bonus task that's not present, at least here, is the using X number of potions, which for a lot of us meant, hey, go ahead and throw away that many potions. Use potions you didn't want to use. Because the only time I use potions now is really against adversaries. Against harder adversaries is where I would use more. Witch Sharpenings and Potents and Strong Extimulos. So for them not to make us use any in like wizarding challenges or places that most of us don't use them, sometimes if you're a lower level player, you may need to use an Extimulo if you're in a chamber that's a bit high for you and you're trying to solo it. But I do have to say, I am glad that they didn't put that in there. I'll take the Alohomora over the potions any day of the week. Overall, I don't think the event tasks are too hard, so don't get me wrong there. I'm never saying they're too hard. It's more just the synergy. I've used that word before. I would like tasks to kind of work with each other. So, put the Wizarding Experience and Challenges from Task 4, put that with the the regular foes in Task 3. Have us do both of them at the same time. And they've done this with other events where the tasks kind of worked with each other within the same grouping of tasks. And then things like repeating the Alohomora, let's be a little more creative with that. The image placement's just one of my biggest ones, and that's just to have those 5 images. Whenever we have to place 5 images, have us have the ability to have 5 images at that point. The 5 images from the event, it would make sense. But I'll stop talking about that. I hope this guide helps you prepare for this event, which the only thing I can think of is just having 3 potions brewed going into this so you can collect them in that first task, just so you don't have to wait through brewing them. And then just have enough ingredients, I guess, is for the master notes for you, because we have to do it 7 times. Have the master notes, you at least need 6 potions worth of ingredients, because the complimentary pack has the tonic for trace detection, so you could use the ingredients for that to enter the master notes. And keep in mind that last potion you do, you'll enter the master notes. and you'll get credit for it. You don't even have to wait for that potion to stop brewing before you can just start moving on with other things. I did film a community day video, and I just haven't had a chance to finish editing it, and then I knew I needed to get this video out, so I was going to put this one out first. I just put that one on the back burner. That one may be coming out soon or not. I'm just saving it for an episode I can do another day. As always, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Nox.